Hello, hello, everyone. It's your girl Tay from the Let's Talk Wild podcast. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by a very special guest, Leokadia George. She is the author behind the heartwarming children's book, Trumpet, the Miracle Wolf Pup. Trumpet Becomes a Mom is the fourth book in the series based on a real life Mexican gray wolf at New York's Wolf Conservation Center. And it touches on conservation, family, love, and new beginnings. Leokadia, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to talk about Trumpet's book. So,
Yeah, yes, yes. So, guys, before we get into the interview and book, no matter where you're watching or listening, please support by subscribing, following, liking, and sharing. Y'all can send donations. I'll have the book where you can buy it, link below. Now, let's talk wild. Cue the animals. Yes, yes. Now, y'all know I got a Baltimore accent. I'm a Baltimore native, so I'm trying to say her name right. Leokadia. There we go.
sure. Yeah.
George. Okay, so we're
I
gonna
know it's
get
a very difficult name.
yes, but that's her pen name. That's the name she goes by when she's publishing as an author. Okay, so let's jump right into it. I just want to let you know I love the name, the pen name. I also love your regular name, Monica.
Thanks.
But what made you choose that name for your pen name?
So, Leokadia is actually my great grandmother's name. So I wanted to honor her. And then George is my grandfather's name on my father's side. So I just pulled the two together to honor my family and, just say
Yeah.
thanks.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Well, it's a beautiful name.
Thank you.
So let's start from the beginning. How did your journey as a writer begin, and what led you to focus on writing children's books?
So, the journey actually began with me volunteering at the Wolf Conservation Center.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I would ever write books,
Mm-hmm.
but this kind of fell into my lap. I started learning about Trumpet's story while I was volunteering there, and I was thinking this is the perfect children's book. The kids will relate to this, and it highlights conservation in a fun and unique way. So I just asked them if I could write the book, and lo and behold, the series is now almost complete.
Yes, I love that. So this is a picture of trumpets.
Yeah.
Yes, image credit to the Wolf Conservation Center in New York City. She is gorgeous. Okay.
Yeah, she is. Um,
Yeah. So you bonded with her when you were volunteering there, or
well,
how?
bonding is a unique way of putting it.
Okay.
She's a wild wolf, so she doesn't
Oh
like
yeah.
she's scared of people. So
Mm-hmm.
she'll just run away. But they
Mm-hmm.
do have web cameras, so you can kind of watch and observe her behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do assist with animal care. So we do go in there, do health checks, and I also clean out water buckets so that they
Mm-hmm.
have fresh water.
Okay. Yes, I love that. Any way to help the animals we can. I love it. I love it. But I love that her story. You made one book and then you continued her story. It wasn't just like a cliffhanger of, well, what happens now? She was a
Yeah.
puppy. She's a puppy, but we need to know what's going on. So I love that.
Yeah, I actually originally when I thought about it, it was only gonna be one book,
Hmm.
but I wanted it to be for young kids. The books are great for ages 3 to 8, and it was just way too long for a young kid to be able to sit through all of those stories. So I ended up making it into a series.
Yes, yes, I love it. Before we get all the way into the book, so I just have some quick questions about the publisher and the illustrator. So, the books are all published by Briley and Baxter Publications, correct?
Yeah,
Yes, yes. I love that they support animal rescues, and that's like one of their things on their website. They're letting you know, like, we support animal
yeah.
rescues. So, how has it been working with the company?
Oh, it's amazing.
Good.
So supportive, and yeah, what really brought me to them was that they do donate to animal rescues and also promote animal rescues. The founder, she really loves animals. She loves conservation. So
Mhm.
it was the perfect fit. And it, working with her and the illustrator was really great. We just had a great dialogue, great understanding
Mhm.
of what the vision was, and
Mhm.
support. So, and that's super important.
I love that. And guys, if you're listening to the podcast and not watching the visual on YouTube, the illustrator is named Maddie Moore. Okay. So yes, I love that. Now let's get into the book. Okay. First up, we got Trumpet, the Miracle Wolf Pup. Now this is the first book, and it's about the birth of Trumpet. And we have the second book, Trumpet grows up, she's getting older, she coming into her looks, the third book, Trumpet finds love, she finds love with a fellow Mexican gray wolf named Lighthawk. I love that name.
Yeah.
And the fourth book, she becomes a mom. Trumpet becomes a mom. I love it. Can you give us a summary of what it's about besides her being
Um,
a mom?
yeah. So the fourth book, actually, her first litter, three wolves. She gave birth to them live on the web cameras. So she went into the den that has the camera in it, and so we were able to see her giving birth. And then not only that, but also coming in and caring for her puppies, nursing them, cuddling with them. So it was really just a delight to watch her come into her own, becoming a mom, and just to see that caring side. And it was just wonderful.
Yeah, she came a long way. She came a
Yeah.
long way, and like I said, I love just watching it. But I'll get into my wild thoughts later. Let's finish. But since the book is based on a real Mexican gray wolf, did you do any extra research to bring the story to life in a way that's both accurate and engaging for kids?
Yeah, so a lot of the research was basically the observation of her true story. The fact that there was a fertility issue with her parents, and that's why she's the sole descendant from her father's line, which is super important because he was the number one genetically distinct wolf at the time in the entire program. And they're critically endangered. So they really couldn't have his line die out, and it almost did, but not for her birth. So she was considered a miracle
A
wolf pup,
miracle. Yeah.
and that's kind of how this idea started. So I decided to kind of put that down for kids to learn about. And the second book really goes into pup development. It's fun to learn to see how fast puppies grow, wolf puppies, and just the different developmental stages. But I decided to kind of write it in a way that kids would relate to, not just seeing the new sights, but seeing the same sights that a lot of kids start seeing, the birds. Flying around, the kind of seeing things from a lower standpoint. So the trees are super, super big. Also hearing new things. Kids, the buzzing of bees is something that kids
Yeah.
really relate to. For as adults, we don't find it so fascinating, but
I
kids
still
really
do.
do.
I still do.
Yeah, so it was great to kind of like highlight that aspect of going through the different stages in the second book. And she also gets a health check in the second book. And for a lot of kids, it's really scary to go to the doctor. And it was kind of nice to portray that she too was scared. We know
Yeah.
that they're scared of humans, and they don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, all these humans are there and getting poked. And so it was something that was very relatable for kids. And then the third book, it's actually a little bit of a love story, but it does highlight conservation. So this Light Hawk was actually flown to the Wolf Conservation Center from Arizona, and he was flown by a group of pilots that helped save species from extinction. They donate their flights. Um,
Yes, I
yeah,
love
and
that.
that conservation group of pilots, it's called Light Hawk Conservation Flying, and they, as a thank you, they nicknamed Light Hawk Light Hawk.
I
So
love
it was the
it.
perfect opportunity to kind of bring that conservation aspect into a book like this. And then we have the fourth book where now they're a family with these three lovely puppies.
Yes, I love that. Oh, yeah. Shout out to all the conservationists, all the people that help bring this family together.
Yeah.
Okay. Trumpet said, y'all will not let I will not let my father's lineage, his bloodline, die out. Not on my watch. Okay. I
Yeah.
love that. So, yes. And what message did you want the readers to take away from Trumpet and her family story, like overall in this fourth book?
So the fourth book focuses on family. So it really is a nice way for kids to relate, that bonding with their family, as Trumpet's family starts bonding together, growing. So, and I also, in this book, I was able to add in, a couple funny moments. Some of the other books have funny moments, but I think this one actually ends up being the funniest. So, so that was a lot of fun to do, to add those in. And, when you're watching puppies, you kind of see all those like silly moments that,
Yeah, I was ready to
that they
say,
have.
yeah, it got to be funny. Like it's funny watching human kids grow up. I'm pretty sure it's funny watching the wolf pups coming to their
Yeah.
own and just exploring and learning. So yes, I love that. Okay, so what do you hope and maybe even their parents will take away from reading this book?
So one of the things that I guess, what I really wanted to do was introduce young kids to conservation. The topic of conservation is really complex, and sometimes it can be overwhelming. But if you just kind of do the introduction to conservation in a fun way, like that, kids will be like, oh wow, for instance, with Light Hawk Conservation Flying, oh wait, there's pilots are helping save
Ver-
species. That's super cool. And you don't have to expand upon it too much, but just so that they have the young kids have that introduction, I think is a really great thing that these books can do. And then also, what I really like, and I incorporate this in all the books, is a howling moment. It's just amazing to do a group howl. It's one of the feedbacks that I get from parents is that it's fun to read this book, because all of a sudden you're howling together and it's such
Yeah.
a bonding moment. Not only wolves bond through howling, people can too.
Yes, indeed. Communication, having
Mhm.
fun, learning about conservation. That it's like that's a great segue into what I wanted to talk about next was the conservation. Because here at the Let's Talk Wild podcast, education and conservation are my motto. So I definitely want to touch on that. So the gray wolf is listed as least concerned with a stable population trend by the IUCN, but the gray wolf subspecies, the Mexican wolf, conservation status is critically endangered. Correct?
Yeah, they're critically endangered, and it's to the point where the wild population, the population that's in Arizona, New Mexico, and Mexico, they're actually considered full siblings.
Oh,
So, and one of the things that was super important is that Trumpet's lineage through her father was not represented in the wild. So she's actually had a number of wolf puppies cross-fostered into the wild in both
okay.
Arizona and New Mexico. What they'll do is they will fly out the puppies before they're 2 weeks old. So their eyes are still closed. They can't hear anything. And they're super fragile. But what they'll fly with a veterinarian will go with them along with the curator, and they'll hike out to a den in the wild of a mother that they know has puppies around the same age, so less than
Mm.
2 weeks old. And they will put those puppies into that den, and the mother will adopt them. It is they're one of the species that will adopt other puppies, and not every species does that.
Yeah, I love that. Come on, Trumpet. You's a good mommy girl. I know that's right. Ah, I love it. I love it. You are donating parts of the profits from the book sales to Wolf Conservation. I love that. Can you tell us other ways we can support wolf conservation, even if people may not have the funds to buy the book or send donations? What other ways they can help?
And that's completely understandable. Not everybody has the funds at this moment, or, they can't, buy everything, right? Maybe they
Yeah,
have
yeah,
too many books, but, you can go to the library and ask the library to get copies of the books, and then, check them out at the library, and
yeah.
that way, everybody can have an opportunity to read about Trumpet's story. As far as getting involved in conservation, there's so many different ways that you can do that. You can volunteer. You can volunteer at your local nature center. A lot of them do have volunteer opportunities. But also the Wolf Conservation Center, they have unique opportunities to volunteer. For instance, grant writing. That's an opportunity for people who really do like to write and
Right. And get
want to get
the
involved.
funds. And get the
Yeah.
funds.
So there's so many different ways that you can make an impact, and I think like now, more than ever, we need it, especially since, this week we lost one of our pioneers, Jane Goodall.
Yes,
So
yes. Rest in
it's
peace, Queen. Oh.
yeah. So we have to take up that torch, right?
Yep. And keep it pushing and keep it moving.
Yeah.
And their legacies, Steve Irwin,
Yeah.
Jane Goodall, all of their legacies will continue to leave a lasting impact, and
Hmm.
and we will continue to spread that awareness for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. I want to get into my wild thoughts really quickly. I always have this segment on the podcast. So I just want to say this was my first interview for the Let's Talk Wild Book Club. So I'm
Oh,
so,
nice.
yes,
Way to lead it off. Yay,
I know,
Trumpet.
right? And what's so crazy is what was I kept saying I want to start a book club, because when I do my podcast at the end, I may tell the people when I'm listening to audiobooks or when I'm reading, because I'm a bookworm. So I'm like, I just need to start the Let's Talk About Book Club. So when I got the email, I was very excited, very happy. I had to make sure everything was legit. I said, this isn't spam, is it? So I'm glad it I'm glad it wasn't. And I appreciate you for coming here. And I'm so happy things aligned for us to be able to do this, because two things that I love: animals, wildlife, books. And I appreciate you and others for taking your talents and using it to raise awareness. Because when I was growing up and where I grew up, animal and like wildlife conservation wasn't a focus point in schools. But since I'm a bookworm, I was always at the library and I was able to read on my own and learn. Because I would sit in class and I would be like, something is missing. Something is
Yeah.
missing. And then once I started reading and doing my own research, I realized that talking about wildlife and the challenges that they face was the thing missing in my curriculum.
Hmm.
So anytime I did a school report, it was on endangered species.
Wow, that's
They like,
awesome.
yes, my friends, girl, you gonna pick them animals again? Sure is. I sure am. I sure am.
Nice.
Y'all, okay. So yes, that's my wild thoughts. I wanted to let you know that. We're going to do some final questions, because
Sure.
this has been such a joy talking to you. Before we wrap up, where can listeners find your books, follow your work, or learn more about wolf conservation?
So the books can be purchased on online retailers like Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, a lot of independent online retailers. And some independent bookstores are starting to pick them up as well.
Yes.
The As far as learning more about wolf conservation or conservation in general, the Wolf Conservation Center has a lot of information. All the way from the whole background of the genetic lineages and history to activities that kids can do. So I would definitely recommend reaching out to them. But there are also other conservation groups. You can just Google and check out the various ways. There might be something local in your area. I didn't even know about the Wolf Conservation Center. Probably a decade ago. And it was, I found out about it through my sister-in-law. But there may be a conservation group that's right in your area,
And
or
you just don't know it.
yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, just kind of like do a little quick search and get involved. Just, the more people are talking about it, doing research and focusing on it, the better it helps the animals.
Yes, I love that. And finally, what's next for you?
So the series is not quite complete. I do have a fifth book in mind. Like
Yes.
I touched upon, Trumpet does have cross fostered wolves in the wild, the puppies. And I did want to write about the first one that was flown out into the wild, and kind of go through that process and introduce the young kids to the wild side of it. The
Yeah.
out in the wild. It's not just that a wolf conservation facility, but there is a wild population out there, and that we have to value them just as
Yes.
much as the captive population.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And I love that. You listen, you can branch off and do some more books talking about the foster pups, or talk about
Yeah,
the puppies growing up. Like, this doesn't stop. When Trump is said, "Not on my watch, my father's bloodline will not end," the book shouldn't end either, because we
right. Yeah.
always need books, okay, to educate the children. And it's I have a daughter, and she's 3. I have a youngest daughter, she's 3. But
Oh.
it's yes. So like, I read conservation books to her, teaching her about animals, like trying to really give that to her and have that instilled in her at a very young age, so when she gets older, she understands, and
Right.
she's able to show compassion and empathy towards these animals, so
Definitely, that's so important, and it opens up their world, just to be able to be a part of that.
yes. But thank you again for joining us on the podcast. We can't wait to see where Trumpet's journey leads next. You have
Thank you.
officially, yeah, you're welcome. You have officially earned more supporters, the Wild Talkers, to your wolf pack. Yes.
Yes, exciting.
Yeah.
Everybody should be get a group howl going, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, indeed. Be sure to check out Trumpet, the Miracle Wolf Pup, all of the books. The fourth book, Trumpet Becomes a Mom. You could buy the book online on Amazon, at Barnes and Nobles, okay? If you go to your local bookstore and they don't have it, tell them to buy a shipment, okay, and get them in. it's a
Exactly.
it's available in hardcover and paperback form. The link will be in the description box if you would like to support the New York Wolf Conservation Center. Their information will also be linked in the description. Thanks for watching or listening. Please support by subscribing, following, liking, and sharing. Turn on your notifications so you could be notified when I upload. You can support the podcast by becoming a member or sending a donation to the Let's Talk Wild Venmo or PayPal accounts. The links will be in the description box. Now, love yourself, one another, your pets, and the animals. The Mexican gray wolves. Make sure you love them, okay? I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yes.